welcome to episode 42. Episode 42 of Detroit Comics Party. Today our guest is multimedia entrepreneur Dominic Riggio.
How you guys doing?
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah. Like I say, I like the setup. It looks real good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We worked really hard.
We painted this sign.
Yeah. You guys had talent.
But it's very exciting to have somebody who actually is active in comics and comic book things,
Yes.
because that's like a rarity around these parts. What's your main acts? Like, you've got a podcast and you've got a comic book and you were showing me a sculpture of a monster. And
Right.
what's your favorite thing?
Well, I guess I could start with The Arcane Awakening, my graphic novel trilogy, which I have brought with me here. This is book one of the trilogy.
That's the one that I
You have that one.
mysteriously received.
Somehow that ended up in your hands. Yep, it's X-Men meets a supernatural kind of feel to the story. One of the popular good guys is Mojo. He is a descendant of Jim Morrison.
Okay.
He drinks whiskey and speaks in all doors lyrics. So he is one of the popular members of the Ministry, which is the good guy group, and then there's a bad guy group, the Demonic Blight. And one of the popular members of the Demonic Blight is Ravager. This is a picture of him here. Ravager is a cannibal. As he eats people, he turns into a demon. The more he eats, the bigger and stronger he gets. He was inspired by my ex-girlfriend.
Nice.
So basically, it's one last battle between heaven and hell. Winter takes Earth. My take on the ending to the Bible apocalypse story, without being preachy or churchy or anything like that. It was just a way for the characters to get their powers, their Nephilim, angel human, or demon human hybrid are the characters.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
And in that first one, there's a rip and frame where the guy is biting another guy's face.
Yeah.
And it has this great splatter
Demon
thing.
mouth.
No, it's like two humans
Different-
biting each other.
Oh,
Right.
It's
even better.
terrific.
That's what I've always wanted. A panel like that. But then, so here's book two. Book two, we got the good shot of the. Here's the another. But wait, there's more. This is the bad guys, the Demonic Blight. It's a print for you guys.
Dang.
Ooh.
And also the good guys, the Ministry.
Cool. These look beautiful.
This all looks very, very professional.
Thank you. I try. And then, of course, here's the ending to the thrilling conclusion, book three.
Whoa.
The Arcane Awakening. No, so book one came out in 2012, and then 2014 for book two, 2016 for book three, and been on the Comic-Con circuit since 2012.
Wow.
Who is your partner in this?
I'm the writer and creator, and it's my company, Mess Bucket Comics. We're
Okay.
a self-published independent company out of Detroit here. The illustrator for book one was Jacob Crippen. He has some DC and Marvel inking credits. And for book two and three, it was Keith Gratchow. He has some Disney work and play-along toys under his belt.
Whoa.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was something for some reason, the story just came pouring out of my head, and I put pen to paper and made it happen.
Excellent. So when you're on the circuit, do you go coast to coast, or we tend to stay very Midwest? Do you go all over?
Every year I've expanded. This year I did 25 or 26 shows.
Whoa.
Yeah, and the previous year I did like 10. But I went to New York Comic-Con this year. I think where else did I go? Nashville. Chicago I went to a couple times, and all over Indiana and Ohio and Michigan, all over Michigan. But I want to go coast to coast eventually. Hopefully 2018 I'll be at San Diego, and this year I'm going to Philadelphia and Baltimore, really getting out there. And honestly, I was afraid that I couldn't drive by myself for that long, for 8, 9, 10 hours, but I found out it's not that bad. I like talking to myself for expert advice.
I feel like we get going stir crazy and like get car kookiness even on like a 5-hour trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, immediately.
But like, I think part of our friendship is that we crank each other's anxiety up pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
like a normal fun conversation about joking around isn't gonna cut it for 5 hours. We gotta like drill deep into like some sort of psychic existential, like self-analysis.
Yeah, I think one of the lighter topics is like, how do you successfully transfer your mind into a computer without ever actually dying?
And what did you guys come up with?
I'm pretty convinced that you have to just do it piece by piece, because if you do the whole thing at once, there's a point in between when you kill this one and activate this one, where this one is you just die. And then there's a copy of you. But if you do it piece by piece, this is all in my book.
I gotta write that down.
I prescribe to me that your computer self has to watch your physical body die.
Okay.
So that it knows that it's a copy, but now the copy is the real thing.
Okay.
And that there's some magic there that you know that you're letting go of your physical self to become a computer.
Well, episode 43, this could be
Right.
what you guys do. You have bring in two people that are going to try it out, a couple old computers.
Right. And there's another.
Yeah.
No, now I'm gonna get like on here. I don't want to have that conversation on that show.
I don't either. I know what you were going to say, though. Avoid the first generation of that technology.
Don't be the first guy.
Right. Wait for round 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so with Mess Bucket, I'm also I have a Kickstarter that will be in 2017 for a new property. It's called Donnybrook. It's my hockey stories.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like an updated slap shot. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. I have my friend and I, Ryan Craig, who we co-wrote it together. Just more of not the on ice action, but like the culture and the craziness, the locker rooms, and what's going on when they go to the bar after the games, the teams, and all that stuff.
Do you play hockey?
I still do a little bit, yeah,
Okay.
every here and there. I grew up playing, but it's like not like any other sport. They're a rare breed. I don't know how to describe them. They're just nuts. So, I mean, I think hopefully when this comes out, we will have nailed it. So I'm excited for that.
Excellent. And it's a straight story with no magic or superpowers.
Right, yeah. No, it's not a
Excellent.
superhero story. That's what I all that madness goes into the Arcane Awakening.
Excellent. That's what I tend to like, stories that are the real people tales.
Okay.
More than the superhero things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to ask. Did you find, like, you've been to a way broader range of shows than I think that we've been to.
Okay.
But are there certain types of shows that you look for? Like, what we're looking for is more of, like, maybe something that says zines a little bit more, or says, like, a little less superhero and a little more like little slice of life auto-bio kind of, what I mean?
What you look
like,
for to go like at a convention?
that our stuff sells well at. But I'm just wondering,
Okay.
is that a different than what you're looking for when you look for a comics show to sell at?
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So like, what you're looking at it as a fan, as an attendee?
No,
or-
like when we're selling,
Okay.
we're looking for something like that. But then
Right.
there are other shows like the bigger ones, which are
Right.
usually geared more towards like superhero fans and
Okay.
stuff like that. Is that what you're looking for when you look for a show? Or
I look for, if people have told me that it was a good show, I like the big independent show, the one that gets a lot of people through the doors, but they don't have 20 shows around the country, and
Right.
it's not too celebrity based where it becomes an autograph show.
Yeah.
Where it's hard to compete with if somebody just met Chris Hemsworth. Now it's like, well, let me tell you about my independent comic. They're like,
Right.
they're still flying high from meeting, their hero or whatever. So,
They just kissed that robot from Lost in Space.
right. So I like to have that, and the ones and shows that have been around for a long time. Those, they have a core group of people that go every year. And they're not bringing the same people every year as well. And they have a reputation of being good to Artist Alley. There's so many things. The setup of the show, if you put Artist Alley off in the corner and you don't make people walk through the Artist Alley to get to the celebrities or to get any of the other things that are going on, and a lot of times we're like, there's a lot of people here, but it doesn't matter because they're not walking through this area.
Yeah.
You know, there's.
Yeah.
I could bend your ear and whine and complain about shows for
That's all we
hours.
do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like,
And also, when they charge too much.
yeah.
They charge too much for people to get to the door. Now they don't have anything to spend.
Oh, for the attendees.
Yeah, right. I'd rather pay more for my table and then have people coming in pay almost nothing, you know, to get in.
Exactly.
I'm going to make it back because they're going to more likely to spend, you know. So, I've never run a convention, but I know if I did it, it'd be perfect.
That's what we thought.
We're trying to figure out all these you know, we have a million complaints about all the different shows we've been to.
Right.
I mean, and we're trying to take all the good things and slam them all together.
Right.
But that's one thing. At a show, you know, sometimes we're in the corner and it's stupid and everyone is just like, takes the hypotenuse away from us. You know, so it's easy to pass us by. But sometimes we feel like we are the center of attention, and because we're just accidentally like in the right spot.
We've accidentally pushed our table about a foot out from everyone else's table.
Right. You can plan it out too, like where you're like, this is the spot I want to be in. This is where it's going to be good. And then you get the spot you want. And you're like, this didn't work out. There's always so many gears. There's a reason why.
Yeah, like the coffee person is over here, and you didn't.
Or the guy
know
next
it
to you
was gonna
didn't show up.
Yeah.
There's no perfect formula. Otherwise, everybody would do it. But I think there's after the longer I've done it, the more I can look at something and be like, I think that's probably not worth my time anymore. Or what I really like what you guys are doing with Detroit Comics Party is you're just thinking so outside the box. Even in your tagline, you're like, we're bringing all the weirdness from the Midwest to our show. That's great. It's different. I haven't done anything like that. I've seen every convention just runs through my head, and I can't even tell. Oh, I met you. Where was that? And they get, like a fan, like, oh, I met you. Yeah, you remember? It's like they all seem the same. It's hard to remember even what city I was in.
Right.
I'm in a box.
You're doing a ton.
Right.
You're doing so many. I mean, a lot for us is what, 5 or 4?
I think we had a bigger ambition on how many shows we were going to do earlier in the game, and now I think we've coasted down to like, if we do 5, we've flexed pretty nice and earned pretty good, and that's all the time in the year there is.
Right.
Well, how far out do you guys go? Just conventions, city-wise?
Pittsburgh seems like the furthest.
I think so. Yeah. Which is what, 6?
But then we have the true, like the Detroit nepotism style where like we know the Pittsburgh people and they always treat us real good and they put us up real lux and then we earn real good in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
And then what's the Ohio one? Genghis Khan is always slamming, and it's kind of the same way.
And that's great. It's just like an afternoon, and it's always packed.
Where's that one at?
It's great. Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which Pittsburgh show?
Pittsburgh Zine Fair.
Okay.
Again, just a 1 day.
It's 1 day. Probably
day
has 50 exhibitors.
That's another thing. Some those 1 day ones, a lot of times are great. Other times, you really don't know. Then there's 4 day shows where I've made more on a 1 day show than a 4 day show. And I'm like,
Do you do a lot of multi-day?
Average probably 3 days are the average shows that I do. Amount of days.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. That's intense.
It's not always. It doesn't always mean that it's more difficult or more money or more anything. It's just,
Do you have a flexible job? We're going down a path of getting everyone fired from their day job. I don't want to do that. But do you?
Yes.
Is this your?
No, it's not my main source of income. I have a cleaning company, and that I would like to stop doing that and start to do all my creative endeavors, like my podcast we were talking about earlier, Motown Mojo Live. And hopefully you guys will be on in the future.
We'd love to.
Yeah, it's on Monday nights from 7 to 9. We're live. You can listen on MotownMojoLive.com or past episodes on everything, SoundCloud, iTunes, all that stuff. Cool. Entertainment podcast where we have musicians, actors, actresses, artists. We've had magicians, just everything you can think of just in Detroit and beyond for all live in studio pretty much. A Skype call every here and there, but I'd rather it be live in person.
It's always more intensity when you look them in the eye.
Yeah, it's always better. What was that? I missed the last part. When they're on the phone or over the internet.
Oh yeah, speak up.
Yeah. And then when there's somebody on Skype, everybody else just goes on their phone. And they're not listening.
Because they don't have to look them in the eye.
Right. It kind of sucks the energy out of the room a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's fun. We got it's the Echo Network. We have a studio in downtown Royal Oak. That's on Lebanon, Maine.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's like a timeshare, or you go in, it's like a club, you pay your dues to use it, or
No,
is it
we're
your
renting the
personal
space.
thing? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got the whole space, 850 square feet, a green room and recording room.
Wowzers.
How'd you get into that? Were there podcasts that you were listening to before where you were like, I want to do this? Or was it like you love radio thing, or?
Well, I started, I always thought podcasts were great. They're just much more laid back, and it didn't seem so forced like radio does at times.
Yeah.
And there's just like that strip club announcer voice they all seem to have. Like,
Right.
Hey guys, so on the flip side is Scorpion Skinner, like, what?
You could do that if you needed to.
It's good to know I can fall back on
Yeah.
that. But I like the way where it's not, it's just a casual conversation like this is. That doesn't seem like really we're going to hit this point for 2 minutes, and then we're going to go to commercial. We're going to come back. Well, thanks for, it still works somehow. Like, radio still is a big thing, but I just like the laid back way that podcasts are. And I really wanted to promote what I had going on and other really talented people. I mean, the networking and the people I've met, I'm like, my God, there's so much talent. And they're just like living under rocks. Like nobody knows where these people exist.
Totally. We feel like that all the time. Like,
it's crazy.
Where are all the people? I mean, we know a million people, and then there's still always like, oh, here's, you dig a little further, and there's this like cluster. You've exploded a new group of like cool people you never knew existed.
I feel like I like to think that, I'm the undiscovered jewel of comics or something like that, but that's whatever. When you really see something, like we were at one of the Ohio shows, and there was this guy who was like, hey, maybe you'd like to trade like one of your comics for one of mine? And we were like, fine, dude. And we traded him, and he walked away. And then we look at this book. And it's the freaking showstopper.
Yeah.
It was the best book in the show by a giant margin.
Wow.
And we went back to this guy like, please let us get all your other books, and we'll trade you for more, and we'll want to get your email and like hook up on the internet. Because this guy was like the uncut diamond. Like, he was so amazing, and his work was so honest and so pure and a good value, because he was like, it's $3 for my book, and it's all these micro frames of like total draftsmanship. And
wow.
Rattle Trap?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's the name of the book?
Wonderful.
Yep.
Okay.
And like, it's a sin that he was just there and being forgotten. He should have been on a throne, and he should have been on a spotlight.
Yeah.
And
it's a shame. I know exactly. It's probably, he probably sits down in the chair at his table and is either just looking at his phone or just drawing, and there's probably somebody standing right in front of his table that's interested, but he doesn't even know they're there, and then they end up walking away. I've seen it so many times.
I mean, he will talk to you, and he's friendly, and he's a nice guy.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
he was like
But
pretty
very
active.
understated.
Yeah.
In all ways, I think.
And I mean, it's not his fault that his book isn't blown up. He's making it, and he's out there showing
He's doing it, yeah.
But like the quality of work, that I wish I could remember the guy's name, but this guy who should be more important, I can't remember his name. Like,
We're helping.
it's the whole world gone wrong to where he doesn't have a bigger publishing deal, or where somebody else should be footing the bill and moving 100,000 units for him, instead of him going to Staples to get like a handful printed.
Sure. Yeah. It's a lot of the artists are introverted, and they don't project like what's on the paper when you talk to them. It's hard. It's it's hard to show that excitement to someone you don't know for some people.
Yeah.
Me, I'm annoying and I'm telling you about it. It's not hard for me.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of what you got to do, you know.
Yes.
It's a weird conundrum though, because it's a medium where usually like the only people who have developed that skill, like the drawing skill or storytelling skill, are usually like introverted, like thoughtful people who don't want to be yelling how much money a book is at strangers for 3 days in a row.
Exactly.
You know, they don't want to be doing that. So I don't know. I think there's more room. Maybe it seems like, you know, there's not a lot of distros or like lots of different publishers that have books that they publish from other authors, but maybe there's more room for that now again,
right?
You know, because there's kind of not a lot of that.
It's hard to get the book into their hand just to flip through it even. Yep. Like that's hard. And it's weird when you guys know this too, I'm sure, when you go to a convention, after a while, even if you're a big fan, it all kind of starts to look the same a little bit. You know what I mean? It's hard to tell, like, is that his art or your art or what's going on?
Right.
You know, if you talk to him, you make some kind of an impression.
Yeah.
Then they'll be like, and when they tell you, I'll be back. They call them Arnold's. You know, are you really coming back? I don't know. You're just being nice. But if you made an impression,
making the rounds.
Yeah, we're making the rounds. Yeah, we'll be back. Yeah, I'm gonna write you down. But you make an impression, then that usually they'll remember you, and more of a chance that they come back. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's hard to even get them to stop, talk to you for a minute. You know, especially with me. You know, I'm not a big name. I don't have a movie. You know, yet. So I've got to pitch in order for them to even look and think about it. I got to talk to them for like a minute. You know, it's hard to do. Yeah. It's hard to do in the age of Snapchat and everything, where people have 3 seconds to. I can't do a 3-second pitch. That'd be great.
Yeah. The elevator pitch, you always got to refine it down and down and down.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. What would your movie look like? Now I want to watch your movie.
Oh God. I would want. So when I wrote the story, like I feel like a lot of these movies just have one element and then they kind of stick to it. Like there's the Batman and he's just brooding the whole time. It's very brooding. You can't out-brood Batman. And, you know, and then you've got Deadpool where the whole thing's a comedy. Like it's joke after joke after joke. And, you know, I wanted to have a little bit of everything, kind of throw it in a blender and put it together. Obviously, a guy like Mojo is the comic relief, but everybody will say something funny, you know. So I would say take Deadpool and The Dark Knight, and I would say put those in a blender and hit puree. We might have that, the Arcane.
Multi-notes.
Well, with a little bit of mystery too. There's like a mysterious like Da Vinci Code kind of thing in there as well. Throw the Da Vinci Code in there, a little pinch.
Cool. That goes with the like Bible vibe.
Yes.
Good.
But again,
I didn't mean that in a bad way.
No, not preachy. Cool. I always have to.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to convert anyone. I'm not qualified.
Do you have a Bible-y background?
Oh yeah, a little. Well, I had 12 years of Catholic school.
Okay.
And what's funny about that is, okay, so you go to school and you have English 1, English 2, you have math, and then Algebra 1, Algebra 2. In Catholic school, there's one book, and it's the same book every year. You got the Bible, and I kept hearing these stories, you know, it's all this moral code, and it's just, you know, it didn't really do anything for me, I'll be honest, you know. But that apocalypse story, I was like, whoa, what's going on? I just woke up. This is great. This is hellfire and brimstone and God versus the devil and end of times. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's just so like it was a totally different, like it was like the original writer just said, I'm done. And then another guy that's really good descriptive writer is like, I'm doing this.
I got this.
So I thought that was cool. And you know, some people say there is an ending to there. Some people say it's interpretation. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of put my ending to the Bible apocalypse story with, you know, in the beginning it kind of stays on track and then it kind of becomes faction, you know. In fact, there is some historical stuff there, but overall, like I've had some people say, well, this isn't exactly Bible history. I'm like, oh, right.
You should go, yes, it is.
So Jim Morrison was in the in the Bible, right?
Yep.
They didn't have a problem with that part. That's okay. There's a demon. There's a cannibal. He turns into a demon, and he gets as big as a building. Still that's okay.
Like grasp onto the identity of being like a splinter religion.
Right. Right. Yeah. You get all kinds of weird, odd complaints and compliments and things that you guys know at conventions.
I didn't have a book that was about water at the last convention, and that was bad, I guess.
Really?
There were no books about water. I tried to stretch
Oh
it,
yeah,
like-
that was a thing. Do you guys have any like books about water?
I really spun that so many different ways of like, well, water is a metaphor for change, and this is
I like that.
a thing of has ice in it, which is frozen water.
There's literally we have a product that's about ice.
Yes.
That wasn't acceptable though.
No, liquid water only.
Oh, that's great. You tried to go full circle and be like, basically, we're 80% water.
We're water? Is that not enough?
Did he have water books? Like, does he own some water books and he was looking for more?
I think she was looking for something for school. I couldn't figure it out.
Gotcha.
Very strange interaction.
Yeah, all kinds of odd folks.
But it stuck with me like I have to do that now.
And then those odd celebrity interactions you get, like just random, you don't see coming.
Yeah.
You guys had any of those?
Like with an actual celebrity, or
Yeah,
where
like that's
people
at the
mistake us
convention.
for celebrities?
Yeah, that too.
No, the ones we go to don't have
It's that one
celebrities
guy.
so much.
Who's that one? The
Or a B celebrity,
I just know that we're always like grimacing and making little moves at fucking Ed Piskor.
Oh,
just like
yeah.
it's
so
I don't know.
It's 5-year-old times.
That guy's a ding dong, and we turn into 5-year-olds.
Yeah, that made us children.
Love it.
Have you gotten any like weird advice about like what you need to change? Like, do people walk up and they're like, you know what, you should do this? Why isn't there more of that?
I get an occasional, like devout Catholic that's telling me about this, that, and like that's weird, and I'm just like, look, man, I went to 12 years of Catholic school. I heard it all. There's not really much. I mean, I did my time, so I kind of know.
Mm-hmm. They're like, why don't you do some of the boring books?
Right.
Just do like a lineage graphic novel, the listing ones.
Yeah, there's. I'm trying to think of some other weirds. There's so much that I've just gotten. So I have I don't know if you saw the picture of the big demon head on my table. Tons of weird requests for that. Just, one woman wanted to put her bare breasts in the mouth of the demon. So it's like
absolutely not.
I didn't want to see her breasts, this particular woman, so I was kind of like, no, it's very fragile.
Right.
Yeah,
It's very fragile. That's very tactful.
Other than that, it's all kinds of weird, bizarre stuff. There's just a lot of weird people out there. When
you get to touch all of them when you go to these things. Yeah, it's great.
It's true.
But that gives me hope because it shows that there's, like, you can walk down the street and see just like, oh, that's a businessman in his coat walking down, and it's the same zombified look. But at comics shows, or probably at any sort of like weird specialized convention or event, or at the library, I'm sure, the dynamic range of strangeness and like personality disorders and brain damage is just so big that it gives me so much hope that, like, for every person who's like a time waster and a lollygagger who wants to put breasts on sculpture or read about water,
throw baby powder in our face,
or throws baby powder in our face. Yeah, I hated that. For every one of those people, there might be like the next person who's really going to turn us on our ear or have a crazy idea that's really going to revolutionize something.
Way more positive for me. Like, I've heard like a lot of like good ideas as well, like good things that have come in, ways that like someone read my book and told me something about it that I didn't know. Like a lot of cool stuff like that. But
Well, I'm sorry, we're out of time.
We're out of time?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
it goes so fast. But thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
for
on
coming.
the
Yeah,
show.
thank you guys.
We
I
really
appreciate it. Yeah.
And thank you everyone for watching. And we will see you next time on Detroit Comics Party.
Sounded like the robot voice.
Cell phone.